Hello, Australia, and happy National Science Week. It's that time of year, it is the best. Welcome to Shirty Science presents the Most Excellent Science Shirt, where we will pit scientists and artists against each other in a battle royale, all in the name of learning. I am your host, Nate Byrne, joining you for another year of Shirty Science fun. Now, usually, including this morning, I wake up before the sun and head into the ABC breakfast studios to let you know what kind of weather you can expect. Well, tonight, I'm letting you know that you can expect shirts, voting, and some hard-hitting questions all on the way over the next hour or so, as together we determine the most excellent science shirt. Well, before we begin, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land where we are coming to you from today, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present and acknowledge every Aboriginal person tuning in tonight. And with over 60,000 years of connection to country, we recognise the traditional owners of this country are not only the oldest living culture in the world, but they are also the first scientists and the first artists, which is incredible and very appropriate for you. Tonight, we are here to decide on the most excellent science shirt. But why? And how? And what even is a Shirty Science? These are the big questions Australia needs answering. So let's get the creator, the founder of Shirty Science, in to tell you all about it. Maddie Hartill-Law. Maddie, you're doing it again. Another big Shirty Science event. Welcome to your own stage.
Thank you.
Yes.
We're here. It was a big push, but yes.
All right,
Excited.
So let's start with the big question. What is a Shirty Science?
A Shirty Science is this. But put simply, we bring together artists and scientists to create science shirts about their research. I then sell those shirts online, people wear them, and then those designs go out into the world and spark conversations, helping to bring that incredible research that's happening all across Australia, in labs, in research centres, in computers, out into the world. And the other thing about it is it sort of works to disrupt that nerdy scientist in a lab coat idea, celebrates Australian scientists, and fosters these collaborations between artists and scientists that, I guess, without me, probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with a lab coat, but t-shirts are even better for sure.
Yeah. And so I've been doing this for a long time, as you all know, since 2016. I've worked with over 100 scientists and artists creating 50 plus shirt designs. My wardrobe is pretty much science shirts. And the fun thing is yours can be too, because all the shirts are always available to purchase at shirtyscience.com.
It is quite the selection as well. It really is incredible, and I encourage you to check it out in another window while you keep this open, of course. I was there when this idea was born. Maddie and I go way back, and it has been so good to see it go from strength to strength. Though, why are we here picking the most excellent science shirt?
So every year, the Australian Research Council funds centres of excellence, where universities come together with businesses to do research on some of our most challenging and significant problems. This year, I had the absolute pleasure of partnering with 5 ARC centres of excellence and National Science Week to bring you a collection of science shirts. So each scientist tonight comes from one of those ARC centres of excellence. So then it made sense that we found the most excellent science shirt.
Very much is a logical choice. I see it. Great. Okay, so you bring together these scientists and artists. Chuck them in a bag, shake them together, see what comes out? Or do you have a bit of a better process than that?
Maybe if you speak to the scientists and artists, it might feel like that. But a few months ago, I brought together the 5 artists and 5 scientists that you'll meet tonight together for a virtual speed dating night. They let me know their preferences on how they wanted to work with each other, and I matched them up. And then for the past couple of weeks, they've been collaborating, having meetups, video calls, sending back and forth drafts and journal articles, data from their research, and our incredible Shirty Science artists then distill all that down and create the incredible designs that you'll see tonight. And then I take them and I pop them onto t-shirts and online.
That is so cool. So that anyone can get a bit of a t-shirt, a science on their shirt that's really been carefully created, right?
Yes, exactly. And then I guess the other thing that I do that I'm not quite sure the scientists and artists are super psyched about, but I force them to come on here and pitch their design for 60 seconds in front of a panel of judges and an audience at home so that we can pick the best and the most excellent, because who doesn't love a bit of competition?
Well, Aussies love a vote too,
Yes.
right? Like, we're well known for that. Yeah.
But yeah, this year I've honestly been blown away with the quality of the designs, and I think they are all the most excellent. So we'll see who wins, but I think they've all done an incredible job of communication and collaboration to bring the designs that we see today.
I'm so excited because this has all been very tightly embargoed. I would have no idea exactly what is going to happen tonight. By the way, this is one of the shirts from last year. Incredible. So
The winner.
from last year. So we could have a winner tonight. Well, we will, and you are going to help. And I can't wait to see what we're going to do. So shall we get on with it?
Yeah, I'm going to stop talking
All
and
right.
leave you all to it. I'll be back in a little bit of time to announce the winner.
Because this is all real. Thanks, Maddie. And your votes are going to matter. Now, as Maddie mentioned, each scientist and artist pair will have just 60 seconds to convince you of the scientific wonder and creative genius that is their shirt design. So, joining us to help make these very important science shirt decisions are a panel of esteemed judges who bring with them a wide range of science and art judging capabilities and experience. Emma Burrows is right next to me and is a neuroscientist, communicator and change agent for equity in STEM. A few years ago, she collaborated with artist Hiromi Tango to create Wheel, part installation, part living lab, this human-sized rainbow hamster wheel, exhibited at Science Gallery, Melbourne, explored how physical exercise can benefit our brain and protect us against mental health conditions. Emma has first-hand experience working at the intersection of science and art, and we welcome that knowledge on our judging panel. Good evening, Emma.
Thank you for having me.
It is so good to have you here. We are going to get into this hamster wheel business very shortly. Next to Emma is Shu Lee. Shu is a Melbourne-based designer and maker who experiments with colours, textiles, crafts to create pieces that blur the line between art and the functional. Shu's designs are not only visually appealing, but also practical as she creates objects that are wearable, usable, and fun. Her unique approach to design and fearless creativity continues to cement her voice in the Melbourne design community and cement her as an integral voice for this judging panel. Evening, Shu.
Hello.
I can't wait to see just how your brain works and thinks about these particular pieces of art. Now, joining us also all the way from Sydney is Nusha Nasiri. She's an associate professor and also head of, we are definitely going to figure that out, Nanotech, the laboratory, excuse me, my breakfast brain, the head of the Nanotech laboratory at Macquarie University. Now, she invented Sunwatch. This is a very cool bit of tech, a smartphone, like completely wearable device that's designed to alert users in real time to UV radiation overexposure. So she knows a thing or two about wearable science. Right, Nushin, welcome.
Thank you, Nate. Good to be here.
Now, last of all, I'm having a little fanboy moment at the moment because we have in the house Wendy Zuckerman. Now, Wendy's been a science journalist for over a decade, reporting on everything from octopus intelligence to superbugs. Now, Wendy used to work at the ABC and she pitched an idea when she was there for Science versus Gwyneth Paltrow. And so the podcast Science Versus, which I hope you are all listening to constantly, it's been my #1 podcast and that's where it was born. Now, as a master of distilling scientific facts into really easily digestible pieces, Wendy, we welcome your science communication skills to the Shirty Science set.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you in town and here in the flesh. So welcome all, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think it's got to be the hamster wheel that I asked first about, though, Emma. What were you thinking?
It was slightly terrifying from an OH&S point of view, but it brought so much joy. I think the genesis came from the fact that Hiromi Tango, my artist collaborator, and I just wanted to have fun. And we wanted to share science with people. And Hiromi loved the work that I did in the neuroscience lab. And we really played around with the fact that we had mice and wheels and they were running 10Ks a night and they were loving it and their brains were growing and they were healthy and happy. What could we do to sort of translate that to the human context? And that's where we just went with rainbows, Hiromi's signature, and with a giant human-sized running wheel that really worked. And I think in the end, it's travelled all over the globe. It went to Singapore, Dark Mofa, and it just ended up in Splendour in the Grass. So it would have had a good 30,000 people running on it, many Ks.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun and some really, really happy faces. And I personally ran on it. It was not what I expected. It was a lot harder than I thought.
So don't rush to install one in my living room.
Look, there was a design that we found from the US where someone was joking around and they just wanted to do something different with their work setup. So pre-COVID, how do they keep moving while they're working from home? And I thought that's cool. And so we saw their design and we did take a piece from it. They looked like they were more comfortable than I think a lot of the other people that we saw on our wheel. But it was something that, just try it out, learn, feel it, feel the groove. And
that's what science is about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We did have one of our human mice. He ran
That sounds like a terrifying science experiment, by the way. What about human mice?
He ran over 12 Ks.
Oh, wow.
He just didn't get off, and it was his mum who said, we've got to go home. And so he wrote us a personal note and said, I love this. I want you to know that I broke the record, and the only reason I got off was because my mum made me. So there was some really, some great highlights.
That is so cool. Hey, Newton, can you tell me about this amazing smartwatch you've made? That, it sounds like you're essentially fixing the problem of forgetting that we put sunscreen on.
Absolutely. And this is actually happened when I was coming to Australia 11 years ago as a PhD student. And I was in a flight. I'm from Iran. I was in a flight coming to Sydney and I'd never been to Australia. And my PhD project was supposed to be on certain magnesium alloys to reduce the weight of cars. And I was very proud of that project because it was supposed to do better for the environment, like the climate change, and reduce carbon emission. 5 minutes before we land in Sydney, the gentleman next to me asked me about, what are you going to do here? Is it your home? I said, no, it's my first time to Australia. And then he asked me about my project. So I was very proud in that moment. I tried to explain about my project, that I'm going to do this and I'm going to reduce the weight of cars. And then he just looked at me and said, are you sure you're coming to the right country? We're not a car manufacturing country. And then I said, it's okay. I'm a researcher, so I work on a project. It's going to benefit the entire globe. And then he said, no, your scholarship is my taxpayers' money. So it's who's paying your scholarship? It's my taxpayers' money. So you have to work on a project that benefits the people of this country. And that was a turning point in my life. So I thought, as soon as I enrolled as a PhD student, I started searching what is the main problem Australian people are facing. And you know what? Skin cancer is our national cancer. So it's one of the most significant health problems we have in this country. And 95% of skin cancer in Australia are because of overexposure to UV. So it's just because of an environmental factor, it's not a genetic problem. So I thought that, what if someone tells us how much UV is absorbed by our skin? What if someone can tell us whether I absorb enough UV or high amount of UV or low amount of UV? Because you need to have UV exposure, because you need to have vitamin D produced by your skin, because it's essential. So that is the project that I started. I completely changed my project. I changed my supervisor, and I started working on a device that eventually, after 10 years, is a tiny device, like a smaller size of a Fitbit. So there is a companion app that we developed. So you can wear this device, you go outside, and then it tells you what is the level of UV index right now, and then it also measures how long you've been exposed to what level of UV index. And then if you reach to the maximum level or the safe level of UV absorption, you receive a text message on your phone that tells you you better renew your sunscreen, or you better get back inside and seek shade.
It sounds so obvious and so simple, but somebody had to come up with the idea, and that was you. That's so incredible. Thank you for helping to save Australians. I love this. I love this idea. Actually, and talking about wearable stuff, Shu, that's your sort of area of expertise, right? When it comes to looking at things from an artistic point of view. Tell me about your work.
Well, I always think, like, when I create something, I always think, will I use it? Is it something that I'll use? Like, instead of creating, I'm mindful with what I create for my brand. It's like, I always ask my questions, like, is this useful? Will I like it? Will I have it at home? So these are questions I come up with before actually producing, like, a range of products.
Yeah, and then so once you've got your use case that you know you're going to use, is that just when the creativity, you just let it go?
Yeah, then I'll just let the flow, and I'll start sketching, and I want it, how I want it to look like, aesthetically, and like the colors and things. So yeah, I'll start putting the thought process after that.
It's cool that that's like a high priority for you on your list. And talk about high priorities, Wendy. Hello. If people don't know about Science Versus, it's an incredible podcast. It's funny, you talk to some amazing scientists and really tear apart things that are confusing in the world or that people don't know enough about. Where do you get your first ideas from?
The interwebs often, but then also friends. There's these topics that just hit the zeitgeist all of a sudden, and suddenly I'll be having beers with someone and they'll say, "Are you doing an ice bath?" And I'm like, "What? An ice bath?" And then someone else will be talking about ice baths, or I'll be watching something on TV and they're mentioning ice baths, and I'll look up the Google Trends on ice baths, and all of a sudden it's a thing. So just kind of keeping like socializing and chatting to friends, I think, is really important to my work and understanding what's really popping. And then we have now, because we've been going for so long, we have listeners that like to tell us, like, can you look into this and look into that? And often they'll bring us ideas. When we did the 5G episode, I didn't know people were worried about 5G until all of our listeners were like, what's going to happen with 5G? We were like, can someone look into this? And one of our producers was like, sure. And all of a sudden we realized there was protests in the street, not big ones. So that, yeah, we're just really lucky to have listeners telling us what they're interested in.
Sometimes you've actually led the way. How long was it before the coronavirus pandemic actually took hold that you were doing that pandemic episode? Because it was before,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So we did, like 3 months before the pandemic happened, we created like a fictionalized pandemic, which usually on the show we don't make.
No, it was an unusual thing for you.
Yeah.
That hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, we hired actors and read all these protocols from cities that were like, if a pandemic happened, what would we do? And I remember our producers being like, we'll have to work from home. And we're like, that's crazy because of a virus. I remember, let's really get the fact check on that. And then, yeah, we put it together, and then 3 months later, the pandemic actually happened, and our listeners were like, are you guys witches? Like, what? But really, scientists had been predicting this kind of thing was coming, and so they weren't surprised. Obviously, there were twists and turns that were surprising, but they were not surprised that it happened. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad we have all of you here. This is going to be an incredible night. Now, finally, there is one more judge, and that's you at home. You're going to be really a part of choosing the most excellent science shirt. And we're going to be collecting your shirt votes with the very scientifically rigorous and well-known emoji scale. All right, so after each scientist and artist reveal and pitch their design, you will go to, or you can go to ahaslides.com/excellent and select from the following options. Okay, ready? I'll give you a demonstration. Smiling face with love heart eyes. Now that's if it is the best gosh darn science shirt you have ever seen in your entire life. Then there's slightly smiling face, no dimple though. That's a pretty good science shirt. You like it? Yeah, it's decent. Then there's slightly frowning face. No, that's if you don't quite get it, or perhaps it's just not your thing. That's totally fine. And at the end of the pitches, you will also be asked to select one design out of the 5 that you think is the most excellent science shirt. So it's easy, emoji scale. Then our data experts out the back of the studio will calculate your results with those of the judges, and together we will be deciding the winner. So as an added incentive, if you rate every science shirt, you will go in the running to win a free Shirty Science shirt of your choice. I think we might need to have a bit of a practice run. So pictured here is a science shirt that was sent to us by seismologist Adam Pascal on Twitter. Let us know what you think of this shirt design by selecting one of the 3 options on AHA Slides now. It's AHASLIDES. Now, I'm thinking that this is, well, it's a decent shirt. It's not exactly what I think I would be choosing with all of the creativity of an artist and a scientist with weeks of collaboration and chatting and expertise. But yeah, I'd say it's still pretty good. I like the Earth. I'm giving it just an average smiley face. All right, so I can see that we are starting to get all of your votes. That's good. Your ratings coming in now. Now, most of you actually thought it was a pretty good shirt. Yeah, okay, great. Well, we are judges, agreed? Pretty good? Okay, well, we know that it works. So let's get started. Judges, are you ready? Yes. Judges, are you ready? Ready! All right, so let's have a big welcome to our first science and artist pair. Eliza Roxart is a PhD student at the ARC Centre of Exciton Science and has collaborated with Glenn Downey, a Melburnian muralist and graphic designer. They've created the nanomaterials shirt design. Eliza and Glenn, are you here? Welcome, good evening. Are you ready?
Hello, yes.
Excellent. All right, we are going to give you 60 seconds on the clock to pitch your design, and your time starts now.
Hello, I'm Eliza. I'm a chemist who researches on new nanomaterial.
And I'm Glenn. I'm a Melbourne-based artist, and I create large, sometimes building-sized murals, studio paintings, and digital graphics.
For this, we came together to make something human-sized.
The 2D material that Eliza works with is kind of hard to understand, but the natural geometry of the nanomaterial and the red glow they have in the luminous imaging were immediately inspiring for this graphic, and it led us to this vector retro style that we got on the t-shirt.
Working with Glenn, I saw that how delicate and complicated is a design process, just like making and synthesizing nanomaterials. But hopefully this design will be a great icebreaking about the role of the nanomaterials in future technologies.
And yeah, who knows, hopefully next time the next Shirty Science shirt might be made from wearable electronics inspired by this research.
Thank you.
Oh, that was perfect timing, team. Well done. I love this so much that I've decided I'm not only going to be your host, but also your model tonight. So yeah, meteorologist, weather presenter, male model. So let's have a chat about this great shirt design. And actually, we might start with you, Nushin, because this is kind of directly in your field. What are your first thoughts when you look at this?
I love it. I mean, it's beautiful. It is really, really nice. However, I have a question. It's just because I'm dying to know the answer. Why tungsten disulfide? We have a wide range of nanomaterials. I am so keen to know why you chose this material.
Well, my research project is on low-dimensional materials, which would be giving me the opportunity of tuning their properties. So especially WS2 or tungsten disulfide can be very interesting when you would like to direct, for example, light in one direction and block it in one direction, or you want to like direct heat in one direction and block it in other way. So in that sense, it was like very interesting, and I was fascinated about making them.
Fantastic. And Glenn, I feel you, man. I really feel you. I mean, I'm a nanomaterials, and I can actually see how difficult it was for you to understand what she's talking about, and then how you could actually visualize it. So great job.
Oh, thank you. A lot of the credit can go to the luminous imaging, making it a bit easier to understand, that's for sure.
Shu, what do you see when you look at this? Do you
Nate,
see
over to you.
the science, or do you see the beautiful art that's going on?
I see the color, and I love like the grids. I just like, you know, everything's matching up and like really symmetrical. So that's what I see.
Yeah. So do you reckon nanomaterials are something you might use in your art?
Maybe I need to like, you know, go home and start thinking now. But no, I really love the beautiful technical designs, technical drawing, and I just want to know like how did you even come up with the drawings? Like how did you?
So yeah, this luminous imaging that shows the structure of the material. It actually looks quite similar to this vector. There's a lot more sort of imperfections in it, so we've kind of stylized it to be a bit more pleasing to the eye in that way. But it's really quite striking, and that geometry kind of emerged from the process and then made its way into the design, just like that, really.
Wendy, what happens in your brain when you hear about science like this?
Well, I thought the front really brought me back to childhood, and it looks very Klingon-esque to me.
Yeah.
Like we used to have like a Klingon badge that we'd all pretend that we were part of like the Enterprise universe. So I'm really enjoying it from that vibe. I also think are we allowed to give away our thoughts, or will that like bias the?
No, this is not a democratic. No, you tell us what you think. That's why you're here.
I think it's beautiful. I was wondering, what would you guys? So if I was walking down the street wearing this T-shirt and someone was like, wait, what's your T-shirt about? What would be the best response I could give?
Or like a one-liner or something.
Yeah, they're not that interested, but they want to know.
I would say that this could be your new laptop or new cell phone and start from there.
That's a great hook.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. This is iPhone 2058 million, maybe, perhaps, and you could maybe have it really, really soon. Hey, Emma, you've done lots of work with science and artists. Do you see this collaboration really clearly?
I was going to ask that. I'm not an expert, but this is not something that scientists get a lot of chance to do. How was it? What was your highlight? Can you give me, both of you give me a highlight that sort of summarises how your collaboration went?
For me, it was learning about the material particularly was like really interesting in itself, and trying to kind of distill that into the graphic to try and prove that I've got at least a Labrador level of understanding. It was probably the highlight for me, yeah.
Oh, for me was like how complicated this could be, as to like really visualize what I was talking about. It's imaginary in my head, but like it was all about how Glenn could come up with like his creative design and like how it is in design mode with rendering what I was exactly talking about.
Well, I think you two have done a wonderful job. Congratulations. The nano-layer design, I love it. Now you get to make your rating you get to get it in for nanomaterials as we bring up the next pair of artists. Team, thank you so much. Okay, so we are here, judges, at number 1 shirt down. First thoughts, Shu, what do you reckon? Just first thought, did you like it? Did you not love it?
Well, I like the collaboration, like how it worked, like how the artist starting to understand, like he said it was complicated, and you know how he actually came up with this. So I just like the story, like how was like a non-science person can actually get all this information and then interpret it into a design.
Yeah.
So that was a good story.
That's good. And Wendy, I like how you're asking him, what would I tell someone about this? Because that is the whole point of Shirty Science.
You don't want to get caught, you know, what's your favourite song in that band? And you're like, I don't listen to the Ramones. Like, you don't want to get caught wearing a nanolayer shirt and not being able to explain what it's about.
Yeah, perfect. All right, I think we must get on to our next shirt for sure. Aditi Vijayan is an astronomer at the ARC Centre for Excellence for All Sky Astrophysics in 3 dimensions. Could that sound any cooler? I don't think so. And she's been working with Nangisa Gowland, a mixed medium artist, to create Beyond the Stars. Aditi and Nangina, welcome to Shirty Science. I am very excited to see you both. Now, you've seen the first pitch. Are you feeling prepared and ready for your own?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, good. All right. Well, I will close my mouth and let you open yours. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aditi. I'm an astrophysicist and I study how galaxies evolve.
I'm Nangina, a graphic designer and photographer creating on Ngunnawal land. And today we're going to tell you why Beyond the Stars deserves to be the most excellent science shirt.
The centerpiece of the Beyond the Stars is a girl reaching out for the Large Magellanic Cloud, which is the galaxy closest to us. Our design is a tribute to all the women in STEM who strive every day to unveil the secrets of the universe. It is meant to inspire young astronomers by saying, hey, look, galaxy is not that far, it's pretty close.
I've always loved artwork that gives you so much to explore and to incite questions, so you can see the many layers that are being incorporated into Beyond the Stars. We have multiple generations reaching for the stars, an emu drawn within the roots representing the Milky Way from Aboriginal storytelling, and poetry about LMC written by Aditi herself, as well as so much more.
We have quite literally packed everything into one.
Oh, and you managed to get all your words done in the perfect time. Thank you both. I love this design. It's really incredible. Emma, what do you see? Because this everything is really crammed in here. What do you see first?
I see someone reaching for the stars, beyond the stars, and what a beautiful metaphor for what scientists do. The unknowable, that's what scientists are after. And I'm literally blown away. I'm a bit emotional. So thank you. Wow.
That's lovely. That's who is the subject, or is it?
Accidentally I drew myself. I originally was the
suspected.
subject as hoping it wouldn't look too much like me, but there we go.
No, I think it's a lovely choice. There's a lot of action and movement here. Wendy, your first thoughts?
I thought that your 60-second presentation was amazing. You totally sucked me in. I understand the emotion. It's been like such a women empowerment month with the World Cup, and now seeing this and seeing you two sort of creating this world where we're reaching for the galaxy. I thought it was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nushin, you deal with UV coming to Earth. So in a way, your science also thinks about space, right, and what's happening out there. Do you see things here that really get you going?
Oh, I think it's way better than what I was. I mean, initially I saw this beautiful art, but I think I totally agree. I mean, the way you guys pitched it just moves it to a different level, to be honest. So I can actually see exactly what was your perspective and how you actually look at this field of research, and you could actually express it so beautifully and so easy to get connected with. So I love it so much. But I have a scientific mind as well, so I'm gonna die if I don't ask my question. So
Please.
there is a picture. There is a girl in the middle, which you said that it is you. But there is also on the top left, there is also another picture, which I think there is another person over there. Who is that person?
That is my yaya. We wanted to show the different generations it goes down. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's fantastic. This is really, really good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's brilliant as well. And actually, I'm no artist, but I see like a really clever use of colour here, Shi.
Yeah, and I love that. I don't know, is this hand sketch or like hand drawn, or like how did you create this? Did you draw it on paper or like?
Yeah, I drew it on an iPad. It's digitally drawn. But yeah, it's a mixture of so many different mediums.
No, I can tell there's different layers. It's beautiful put together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aditi, when you saw this for the first time, what was your reaction?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Yeah. I'm just curious because it's such a beautiful piece. Like, I'm sure when you saw it, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I imagine it would have taken your breath away.
Absolutely, that is exactly what it did. I mean, Nangina and I, when we discussed this design, there were so many themes that came up. It was not just my science, but also my experience as a scientist, my journey, my aspirations. And it was phenomenal how Nangina just put all of these complex concepts together into this fantastic design.
Well, both of you, congratulations on a wonderful collaboration. I think the voting is going to be going off hot right now. I am really quite blown away. Thank you so much and good luck for tonight. And you'd be best getting your ratings going right now for Beyond the Stars. We are going to be moving on pretty quickly, so don't snooze on it. But team, wow, this, you're right, Wendy, like in this time where, you know, the Matildas are doing what they're doing, and we're just like, yeah, go girls. Like, it gets you going, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. My friend was telling me that his son the other day said, oh, is there like a Matilda's butt for men?
Yes!
And he was like,
what a turnaround.
No. So it's just really exciting, and then to see, you know, all these amazing women designing all these beautiful things, whether it's in t-shirts or in wearable technology. I just love it. I'm so here for it.
Yeah, Emma, you said you felt like tearing up right at the start. Same?
I'm still there. Look, it's not easy for women and non-binary people to be in science and especially in physics. Not that many people make it to the PhD level because there are lots of barriers. Yeah. And this is just such a celebration of the extra work that people need to do in this field. And I'm so excited to see a lot of really, really phenomenal women and non-binary people in STEM because we need their brains. Mm. Yeah. So there's a lot behind it. Yeah.
For me, in part, you're not meant to have a favourite scientist. I'm meant to love them all equally, but astrophysics does have a little bit of it's got a special place in my heart. Yeah, as actually does the next science that we're going to be talking about. I've got some more scientists, another scientist and an artist to introduce you to, Zuba and Paula. Now, Zuba Ahmed is a PhD student from the ARC Centre of Plant Success, who has been working with Paula Melios, an urban Indigenous emerging artist, to create, this one's going to be tricky for me, I've practiced, Nicotiana benthamiana, I believe, if I got it right. Did I get it right?
Yes.
No, Nicotiana, that's it.
Very close. You got it that time.
I practiced so much. Okay, both of you, welcome. Plant Success. Are you going to be successful? Let's find out. We'll put 60 seconds on the clock and your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Zuba and I'm a plant molecular biologist.
Hi, I'm Paula and I'm an urban Indigenous multidisciplinary artist.
And together we created this Nicotiana benthamiana shirt design.
The design was inspired by Zuba's research where she worked to identify which genes are responsible for successful anthocyan production in Australian native plant Nicotiana benthamiana. Anthocyans are pigments that are responsible for shades of red and blue in nature. The colours used in our design represent these pigments.
Nicotiana benthamiana, or benth as we call it in the lab, is a very important model plant used by researchers worldwide to study things such as plant microbe interactions and metabolic pathways. You can even use it to produce plant-based vaccines.
The purple, our design should win the most excellent Shirty Science shirt because it highlights the vibrant colours and Indigenous history of benth.
Yay! Lovely work, both of you. It's totally fine. National Science Week goes longer than a week. Sometimes 60 seconds goes for 62. That is entirely fine. Congratulations. This is a beautiful shirt. And so exciting. I mean, this work is going right across the spectrum. I mean, plant vaccines. Wendy, is that something you've heard of?
I have heard of it, but I find it fascinating. It's one of those things you hear about, you're like, what? And then you just mentioned it and I'm excited about this concept all over again. I think this is such a beautiful shirt design. I think it would create such fun conversations. I do want to ask the same question that I asked the nanotech shirt design people. If someone was wearing this, if I was wearing this at a coffee shop and someone asked me about it, what would you want me to tell them?
I think it would be cool to say that this plant is a biofactory and you can get it to produce antibodies and vaccines that plants don't normally produce that can be used in humans. And I think that's pretty cool.
I can see very much again here a strong artistic eye, and I love the Indigenous inspired work around the plant there. Shu, are you just seeing these colours really pop out?
Yeah, they're definitely popping, especially against the black colour. But yes, the use of colour and the green and everything is just it's so catchy. It just catch your eye, and definitely will spark conversation because you can see the Indigenous art. Inspired, but also what's with the plant doing there, and
Yeah. But Paula, where did your inspiration for the Indigenous elements of this shirt come from?
So the plant is, like we said, Indigenous to Australia. I had a whole part that I was going to explain a little bit more about it, but ran out of time.
Oh, don't tell us that. Just say it. It's fine. We won't know.
So. The purple dot work in the background represents the DNA strands to highlight the plant's use in biotechnology, and the pink round asymmetric shapes represent the plant being Indigenous to Australia. So that was really what we wanted to highlight, as well as, of course, make the plant central and kind of appear illuminating and floating, to really draw the attention to the eye of the viewer.
It does literally look like it's floating on top of this beautiful purple and pink sea. Nushin, what are your first views when you look at this? What pops into your brain first thing?
Yeah, before I read the text, I thought that there is a plant that is actually glowing. To me, it was, of course, maybe because of my nanoscience brain, but I thought that there is something fluorescent into this plant that is actually shining and is glowing so clearly. But I think the contrast in the color used is brilliant, and I loved the DNA, the way that the DNA and also those purple dots that you use in the shape of DNA. But again, it is kind of the relevant to the Aboriginal art. I think it's beautiful. It's really nice.
It's so organic as well. Like the whole thing really feels like it was created lovingly. Emma, when you don't play with plants, you play with brains mostly, but there are always connections across sciences, aren't there?
Oh, there's connections across almost every science, and I think I'm transfixed. I love the connection here with country and with science, and it is so impossible not to look at that beautiful plant. And thank you. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I tell you what, though, it is impossible to say. No, it's not. I'm going to try again. Nicotiana benthamiana. Did I get it, Zuba? Yes. Okay,
Yes,
Ben. Ben for short. Thank you both so much for coming and joining us. This is really a gorgeous shirt, and you can get your ratings in for Ben. I'm not going to say it again right now. Now, team, this is obviously we've now gone from tiny, tiny nano layers all the way out to the universe, and now we're sitting in between with plants. Wendy, how are you feeling about Shirty Science so far? These are some big ideas and some big work.
It's fun. It's fun. It's heating up, I feel like. I feel like it's just getting started.
It is actually about to get really dangerous, because you know how I said I have one science that I hold? That's actually a lie. I have several that I hold particularly close, and then a couple that I hold a little bit further away because I don't understand them properly, but I like to keep a close eye on them anyway. Emma, are you already learning stuff about science that you didn't know?
Oh, always.
I mean from tonight.
Yeah, oh
of
gosh.
course, always.
Always. I'm naturally curious. I have so many more questions. I think like Nushin online, I'm holding back.
No, don't hold back.
Oh, no, we'd be here forever. No, I have a lot of Google search terms stored up in my brain at the moment. Yeah.
That is a problem with getting a bunch of nerds in a room and just allowing them to ask questions, because I know I would pin any one of these people down for about 3 hours just to pick their brains. But we do have to crack on. We are over halfway though. So 3 down, 2 to go. And next, Ben and Gillian with their design, Particle Paradox. Ben is a researcher from the ARC Centre of Excellence for Engineered Quantum Systems. You can imagine how I feel about that. Together with Gillian Bowen-Johnston, a traditional illustrator, they created Particle Paradox, and they join us now. Welcome, team. Wow. Okay, I'm not even going to give you my first impressions because I think I might change the voting. Are you ready? You've seen the shirts that have already been through. You ready for your pitch?
Ready to go.
Yep.
Alrighty, team. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a physicist.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm a nature illustrator.
I work on quantum physics, which means the physics of our universe on very small scales, where all of our intuition for the way the world works breaks down and strange phenomena start to occur.
Our illustration merges our familiar world of the very large to the mystifying world of quantum mechanics.
When we get down to quantum scales, particles behave like waves, and these waves can be interconnected in weird ways with something called quantum entanglement.
Our image is an artistic combination of these quantum events and a piece of lab equipment called a dilution refrigerator. This cools particles to extremely low temperatures and allows quantum entanglement to occur. You can see entangled electrons at the top and the bottom, and the waves flowing from the fridge.
We want our shirt to inspire people to explore the realm of quantum physics and discover that it's not magic, just minute. It should be Australia's favourite science shirt because it connects you to the amazing world of quantum physics, and much like the fridge itself, is super cool.
Nice. I will allow that for sure, for a great pun. Team, I love this. Quantum really is my thing, because they say if you understand quantum, or if you think you do, you don't, which means there's always more to learn, and I can't wait. But I want to go to Shu first of all here, because this, whether you understand quantum or not, this is an incredible design. What are your first impressions?
First impression, I can see like movements. I feel like movement. I can really feel the movement. Is this what it's supposed to show? Like, you know, I can just see
the waves,
lots of lines.
Yeah, it was actually designed to represent wave-particle duality, which as an amateur physicist I am now after all my research.
Well, Gillian, well, don't leave us hanging. Explain to us wave-particle duality in, one sentence or less.
The particles can be waves and particles as well.
But that's it. Yep, knocked it on the head.
Yep. Pretty much said all of it there, yeah. Things behave like both on very, very small length scales.
Yeah, and the only difference is really in how you're measuring them, right, Ben?
Sort of. It's more like they can exhibit both wave and particle-like properties depending on the context. So yeah, what we wanted to represent here was like something physical, that's matter, that's the actual dilution refrigerator itself, but wanted to connect it to its wave-like nature. And you can see those sort of rippling waves coming off it to show that the particles that make up the fridge are also waves themselves.
Nushin, I know you have thoughts and questions here. Floor is yours.
So I think this is quantum physics, quantum mechanics is already a very complicated concept, and I think you could, in a very good way, show how complicated it is. So to me, I was hoping that you can help someone like me, someone like yourself, to explain such a very complicated matter with in a very easy way. But to me, this is very, very complicated. I love it because I love complication, to be honest. It actually keeps my brain busy just by looking at it. And I really wanted to dig into that and then see, for example, why here you chose to change the design in this way and you then do it that way. But I'm going to go back to the question that one of the judges asked. So if someone asks you, what is this design that you're showing? And for example, if I'm buying this shirt, and I'm one of the people who are not nerdy sciencey, then how can you explain this quantum physics and quantum mechanics in a very simple way using this design?
Jill actually came up with a really, really fun expression for this that I love, which is quantum physics. It's not magic, just minute. That was something that Jill came up with after our discussions about it, because I do think that's an important thing to communicate. It really is just the physics of the way the world works at very, very small length scales.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love it. That's great.
Perfect. Wendy, you've had your question stolen, first of all. That's all right, Nusha. There are no rules here.
It was a very good question.
It is.
It was a very good
very
question.
stealable. Very.
I was jealous.
Wendy, I want to know, you have to take some very complex science and boil it down. How does this work for you? Do you think they've done an amazing job? Is there a different way you think they could have gone?
I'm getting, this could be because I've been playing too much Mario Kart, I'm getting a lot of Rainbow Road vibes.
Yeah.
Which I'm into, it's my favorite of the races. I wouldn't dare, I'm so unartistic, I wouldn't dare to come up with a different approach, but I did want to ask you, Gillian, what was your most frustrating time when designing this?
I think because I'm a traditional artist, I really struggled moving from watercolour and gouache, which the original design was in, moving to digital art. But when you have a look at an actual dilution refrigerator, it's just this beautifully designed gold-plated machine, and it's just reflects everything. And I knew I just couldn't achieve it with watercolour or gouache. So the rest of the design after I did the original was done digitally. And that was definitely the biggest challenge because I'm very new to digital art.
Wow. So new to quantum and new to digital art, and this is what you managed to pop out as your... That is some talent, Jill, for sure. Hey, Emma.
Thank you.
Is it just me, or are you seeing rainbow circles for people to run into?
I am seeing that.
it's a little bit hamster wheel-ish.
It's in constant motion for me, which is great because that's absolutely what it's designed to show. So amazing.
Yeah, team. I think this is a great design. Congratulations, well done. And Ben, for all your great work at Equus, and I definitely want to come along and learn more about quantum because you can never learn enough. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the evening. Good luck. And it is time for you to get on and vote. So make sure you're doing that. This one, I suspect, may be a very strong contender, team. What do you reckon, Shu? So far, do you think it's up there?
They're all up there, but...
Stop it. Pick a favourite. No, we've still got one more to go. Yes. So it's entirely fine. But Wendy, I mean, you're no stranger to science shirts, right? I mean, you're literally wearing one right now.
I am. This is my colleague's placenta.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll get a close-up on that, please. Yeah, for sure.
That's right. She took as soon as she gave birth to her first kid, she took a photo of her placenta because it's an amazing organ, and then showed it to all of us. And then another colleague, Michelle Dang, was like, I'll turn this into an Andy Warhol placenta. And then my editor, Blythe Terrell, was like, I'll put it on shirts for everyone. So it was just amazing. So Meryl Horn, thank you for your placenta.
And also for your work on Science Versus too, Meryl Horn. And I'll be stealing a line from Meryl a little bit later on. But I think we've got to get to our last shirt, team. certainly not the least by any means, but 5 of 5. We're going to welcome Marcus and Paul, and this time we're going in a completely different direction with style of art. Marcus Kai is a PhD student at the ARC Centre of Excellence for Transformative Meta-Optical Systems, so TMOS. And Paul, aka Paul, is a street artist whose works can be seen all around our nation's capital of Canberra. Now together they've created Ghost Imaging. Welcome to both of you. This is a very different style from what we've seen so far. Are you feeling good and confident?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
It's good. Okay, I'm convinced. So, all right, let's get this underway. We'll get 60 seconds on the clock, and the floor is yours. Your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Marcus, an optical physicist studying how to creatively manipulate light using some very tiny structures.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm a street artist, and we created Ghost Imaging shirt design. Our design was inspired by Marcus's research, which could potentially be integrated into camera lenses to enhance photo quality via a phenomenon called ghost imaging.
And Paul gave a playful interpretation of ghost imaging. Someone is taking a photo of a blue ghost with a mobile phone, which has a ghost imaging module for enhancing photo resolution.
We hope this shirt can illustrate how science and technology are integrated into our daily life and provide improvements, and this is for the kids.
And yes, and we want to draw more attention and attract more young talents to the fields of optics so we can better understand light in this colorful world. Ghost imaging should be the most excellent science shirt because it showcases how even the tiniest research in optics could make a huge impact on our day-to-day life.
Work, team, and with some time on the clock still, this is a very, very different design from what we've seen so far, Mob. And actually, for half a second, when I very first saw it, I thought, oh no, we've got scientists who are taking photos of actual ghosts. That's it, we're going to have to cancel the whole show. But no, that's not the case. Wendy, same for you?
Yeah, wait, can you just explain what is ghost imaging?
Basically, it's just the concept of it is to use some light. Sorry, let me start again. Ghost imaging is when the light that interacts with the objects it's not the ones that is detected by the detector.
Okay.
Which is quite complex. That's why we just think, oh, let's go with a playful translation of the word.
Cool. Paul, what do you think ghost imaging is in this case? Because I wonder if he's explained it well, you might have a different way of putting it together.
Yeah, so it's like when you take photos and you have like two sets of the way they take the photo is they have two sets of like images, and the other one is the image that they get from the ghost image that they had, something like that. So in the design we have two photos, the one with the TMOS in it and the one that doesn't have TMOS. And the one that doesn't have TMOS isn't really an HD, the one in the left. And the one without TMOS is like pixelated and it's not that good.
Right, so what are we actually using this for?
You mean well, this is just a concept that we want to use ghost imaging to generally improve photo quality. So enhance the camera performance in low light settings and things like that.
Right, okay. So I wonder, is this the sort of technology that you would think could be wearable at some point in the future? Nushin, have you got some ideas here?
Yeah, I think this is a part of technologies which can help us to take better imaging. I think, I might be wrong, but I think this will help us for future medical application maybe. Correct me, Marcus, if I'm wrong, but if you have such a technology, optical imaging, that can help you to take better images, would this have future application in, for for example, biomedical imaging?
Yeah, so for my research projects, I don't really work with like medical science or medical research. However, our center also has some research in medical science, in the field of medical science. And hence you can see actually the watch that is on the design is actually like a wearable to detect like danger that we are encountering a ghost and then it's giving a warning with the exclamation mark. But it's just also a playful interpretation. Yeah, but we can have like nanostructures integrated in wearables for medical research or medical applications as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Sure. Have you done work in this kind of street art style before?
No, not at all. But this is why I thought like it's really catchy because it's like I can tell straight away it's like street art. It's really playful, and definitely people be like questioning like, what's this about? You know, like of course people can relate to it. It's very like modern time, the phone, the watch. So it's like, you're right. It's like it definitely appeals to like the modern or like the younger people, and they'll definitely be curious about it, I think.
It grabbed my attention straight away, and when you get up closer is when you realise that, this is the HD side, and this is the side that isn't as clear because you're not using ghost imaging, and it's a play on words. And you have also got a sense of humour. I mean, when you're making mice humans, which is still bothering me and may keep me up all night. But how important is having a bit of a sense of humour in your science when you're doing the communication side of things?
I love that this ghost is smiling, but also has razor sharp teeth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to enhance the quality of a ghost. I love that that's, the tongue as well. I love that humour that has been brought into this, and I'm going to be Googling Timos when I get home too. I got some questions.
Wendy, is this taking you back to Mario Kart again? Just a little bit?
Not so. I guess so. No, of course. Everything's taking me back to Mario Kart.
She'd rather be playing Mario Kart right now.
No, I think it's a super fun take on the technology and the research, which I think it's making me smile the more I look at it.
Yeah, that's so great, gents. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck. It is time actually for you lot to make sure that your votes are in, because that's it. 5 of 5, we are done. 5 science shirt designs revealed and pitched. What a phenomenal group of artists and scientists. I'm so glad that I don't have to decide. So, judges and you at home, it's time. You need to pick which design you think is the most excellent so that our data specialists can get started and start crunching the numbers. Now, I am not going to be able to decide between all of these. They're all so brilliant, so colourful, and just really talking about some really important science. As soon as you've finished your comments, we're going to pass them down to Wendy, who's really good at wrangling people, and Maddie's going to come in and nick your clipboard so that we can get all of these, all of your data in. Make sure yours is in as well. So many cool designs to choose from. I suspect I have a feeling for who might be sitting at the top of the list. But hey, if you've already made your votes, that's great. Don't forget, you can always check out shirtyscience.com and have a look at all of the other really cool shirts that we've got ready for you to buy. Team, you feeling good? Oh, frantically writing notes? It's okay. If you've made your decisions, if you've made your votes, we can finalise it, and Maddie's ready to grab them from you. Absolutely.
I'm nervous.
Notion, have you hit send on yours?
Yes, done already.
Good. All right. Well, I'm going to talk to you while this lot get their stuff sorted. Tell me, what out of these 5 shirts, what's the one that stands out to you first of all?
I think the first 2 stands out to me very obviously. So the nanomaterial, because I think I know how difficult it is to demonstrate nanomaterial and show people, especially 2-dimensional nanomaterial, show them how they are made of layers and layers of thin nano layers on the top of each other. So I might have a better understanding about what is nanomaterial. So maybe that's why the first one I could easily understand and get excited about how cool it was. I think the second one, it was the pitch was awesome. It was really good. The way that you pitched it, initially when I saw the image, I thought that it might be a little bit crowded. It was just too much information at once. But the way that you pitched it, it made everything so clear and so easy to understand. And I loved it. And I think, yeah, it's very difficult to pick the best ones. I really like the work done by Zuba and Paula. The colors are so sharp and they are so beautiful. I mean, I think I can't resist myself on buying this shirt and wearing it very proudly. I think it's just so beautiful. The mixture of science and Aboriginal art all together and all these beautiful colors is so fascinating. The quantum physics one, I mean, again, I totally understand how difficult it is. It's so difficult to explain quantum mechanics and quantum physics, and I think the art can show you the complexity of this concept. And I really hope that this actually open a conversation between the artist and also the scientist and the person who's actually going to wear it, so people can start having this conversation about what is quantum physics. And I think it's going to help increase the awareness and public knowledge about such a complicated topic. And of course, the last one, I think is very different. The whole art was very different than the other four. It's a street art, as you said. I am not really good in terms of understanding the art, but I actually enjoyed the conversation that we had, the panels, the judges, and how different is the science art compared to a street art.
So in short, which one stood out to you? That was all of them, essentially. That's brilliant. No, I love it. If you are having trouble deciding, I can't imagine what it's like for people at home. Hey, Shu, seeing what can come out of science as inspiration, do you reckon that's something you might look to do in your own work?
Yeah, now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it blew my mind just like how the artist interpreted, the subject. Like, yeah, it was just really interesting. And I was like, oh, it's good to think out of the box sometimes and do something else and, try something different. Like one of the artists was saying, like, she only uses hand-drawn and now she has to use digital art. And I was like, oh, it rings a bell, It speaks to my heart. Like to try something different, to do something different.
Yeah, and how do you see, Emma? Because like I say, you've done this, you've collaborated with an artist before. How difficult would this have been for the scientists and also for the artists, do you reckon?
It's really hard. I think artists and scientists share so many common values and so much expertise goes into the process of design and art and science. But I think we speak different languages because we're often so siloed, and it's so important because otherwise, how do we get the message out there? Art is such a beautiful conduit to visualising the hidden world. So I'm blown away by how all of these collaborations have taken a different angle of the scientists or the physicists' true, living their lived work, and I'm really impressed. I think it was hard though. I mean, we got elements of that, and I was pretty blown away by the quantum description. I thought that collaboration was very slick, tag teaming between descriptions, and I love the motion and the still that exists in this shirt as well. So I thought they did an excellent job in our questioning or in our question time to respond to that. But both of them carrying the weight. as well, which is tricky.
I love that Jill called herself an amateur physicist. At the end of that, how many artists are going to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm a bit of a physicist now"? That is so cool. Wendy, science communication, it's your jam. It's what you do. I'm right there with you on it as much as I can. Art, it's such a different way of doing psychom.
It is, and not today, but there are bad ways of doing it as well that really frustrate me. Like when I go to an art gallery and they've just put like MRI images, or up, and you're just like, what? That's not art. It's just, I mean, I guess there's a beauty there, but I think what's really lovely about today in this competition is this really is like this beautiful symbiosis between art and science, and it's really lovely. As I'm looking at these t-shirts, it's really funny because I'm thinking some of these I want to be posters in my room, but I'm like, would I wear that? It'd have to be in a particular mood to really go out there, and then others I'm like, I would absolutely wear that. But so that's another element of design. You could have a beautiful image, but then if it's going to be on a t-shirt, you just think, am I going to walk around on that, wearing that?
Yeah. Can you tell us about, because you have to talk to scientists a lot and then distill that information into something you can actually understand. How hard is that process with some scientists? Because I imagine they don't all make it very easy, do they?
They don't all make it very easy, and there's little tricks of the trade, like, getting them asking for analogies. Analogies are a great way to make people think and make myself think I understand something, even if I don't really. I'm sure those explaining quantum physics love a good analogy, and so you think, oh yeah, I get it, but do you really? But it is a first step, and it can be very difficult. And I think just constantly asking those quote unquote dumb questions until I really understand it is how I do it. I know a lot of interns we have try to ask smart questions and appear smart to scientists, and I always tell them, no, your job is just to understand it so we could explain it. Your job is not to look smart in front of a scientist. They just want to get their work across as well. And so I ask a lot of dumb questions.
Yeah, that's great. And that's always, like, I always try to think, even if I do know something when it comes to science communication, like, you're helping somebody to get the word out about their work, and you're playing the person who they need to fill up with information, right?
Exactly, and because we don't force our scientists to come on the show. So they're spending time coming on the show because they want to get their science out there. So ultimately, we're just the conduit to allow that to happen. And so if it means a couple of frustrating questions about, and sometimes I do bad analogies, so it's like when you bake bread and then it burns, and they'll be like, not at all, it's more like when you're making an onion and I don't know, whatever. And then from there, eventually we get somewhere. And so, but I think it has been really exciting, and through the pandemic, I think a lot of scientists have realized how important it is, whether they are studying viruses or not, how important it is to just have a public that cares about science, that understands the scientific process. And I think these beautiful t-shirts are all part of that.
Yeah. Hey, Nushin, I wonder, did you, in designing your bit of tech, your smartwatch, did you have to talk with actual designers as well about making something that also looked good and was wearable? Because that's a big part of this, right, is that you want it to be something that people do actually want to put on.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a part of that. The first prototype that we designed, we didn't really care about it because the functionality and the performance was more important, and that's why it was really, really ugly. But then when we were very confident that the technology works and it's fit for the purpose, then yes, absolutely. For the latest designs, we always receive feedback, advice from the product design, and also for people who actually have a better understanding about what type of design is suitable to be used as a wearable technology. Yes, for sure.
So exactly what we've done tonight, right? You've all given your feedback, and so have you at home. Actually, Wendy, I've got one more question for you. How many citations from tonight? Which, for those who don't know, that's absolutely science versus. We've got at least 5, right?
Oh, we'd have more than 5, I reckon, just on the bench, just on that beautiful plant that I'm not going to try and pronounce either.
No, Ben. All right. So I've just got word that we have determined Australia's most excellent science shirt. Everyone behind the scenes has been doing everything to make sure we've got the numbers. So let's bring back in Shirty Science founder Maddie Hartill-Law to announce your winner. Maddie, do you have the correct name in that envelope?
I mean, I'm very trusting. I actually don't know the name.
You've not seen it?
I've not seen it.
All right,
We're all going to do this together.
The floor is yours.
And so it is my absolute pleasure to announce that the most excellent science shirt is Beyond the Stars.
Wow, Beyond the Stars. Congratulations, you mum. Oh, some confetti for all of you. All right, how do you feel? Well, this is incredible. You have Australia's most excellent science shirt.
This is amazing, thank you.
It is amazing. I mean, just getting to know Nangina and getting to know her artistic process had been such a great pleasure. And this is just the cherry on top of the cake.
Aditya, will you be making more science shirts, do you reckon, in the future?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nangina, you're in? You're in? That's so brilliant. Hey, congratulations, you lot. And I see you're already wearing the shirts proudly, and I'm sure you will for a long time. Have you two made a connection, you think, that'll last beyond tonight?
For
sure.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, when are you going to see each other next?
The week.
This weekend.
Really? Already? You're going to hang out on the weekend? Would you have ever met without Shirty Science?
Probably not.
That's so cool that we're bringing together separate worlds and bringing... Mads, Maddie, you're okay. You can disappear. Well done. Congratulations once again. We'll give you a great big round of applause. Great job, ladies. You've really done a wonderful, wonderful shirt. And, well, Australia, that's it. Team, we've done it. All the shirts you saw tonight are now available to purchase on the Shirty Science website. So go have a look. Grab one for your mum, your neighbour, your teacher, a local Matilda, like whatever it is that works for you. The shirts are so incredible. Anyone would love to receive one. Also, Maddie is a pretty big advocate for diversity and inclusion in STEM. So she makes sure that all profits from here go towards the Shirty Science Changemaker program, where she works with supporting D&I, so in STEM in particular, and like Franklin women. She works with them to create and sell a shirt so more people know what they do. Plus, they get all the profits from the sales. Now, if that sounds like something your organisation would be proud and interested in, make sure to get in contact with Maddie. Well, there you have it. Australia's most excellent science shirt for 2023 has been decided. Shirty Science would like to thank our judges for their expertise. Team, thank you so much. You were so incredible all evening, and big congratulations on making a wonderful choice. Well done. And also a big thank you to our artists and scientists for creating such incredible designs. Here they are, the whole team of them back together. Ben, love your work, team. You did such a great job. Thank you so much for being part of Shirty Science. And, oh, Nangina's managed to get in, not Nangina, Nushan's managed to get in there as well. Brilliant. For you at home as well, thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful National Science Week event. It really has been a lot of fun. Stupid Old Studios is where we are. And thank you so much for providing this incredible space. And look, we've got a collection of friends and family who have provided support over the past weeks for this project. And finally, our partners at Astro 3D, Exciton Science, Plant Success, Timos, Equus, and of course, National Science Week. Now, there are still plenty more events on for National Science Week. I'm going to be at several in the next few days. Can't wait to check them out. I hope you do too. And even if you can't go to any in real life, there are many, many online, including, I'll do a personal plug, the ABC is searching for Australia's favourite Australian animal sound. We've got a short list down to 10 you can choose from. So you can go to abc.net.au/sounds and vote. You've only got until Friday. Well, team, everyone here, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, Kia ora, Tillies, and good night. Oh, that was